That's right. With you in mind. But of course, the views and opinions expressed are those of me, a po-colored country boy, cotton picker, by way of Israel, and the panelists that Yah has set, but not those of Comcast, their management, advertisers, or affiliates. There is, of course, a mature verbiage alert. That's right. Sometimes this stuff we deal with just make you want to cuss. Today's program title is Who's Wearing the Pants? Who's Wearing the Pants? And I also want to mention, you can pick up these shows all around the world on The Arena Uncensored. The Arena. I've been leaving that out. Lord have mercy. You know, we had a brother come in from South Korea who had seen this the redo of the show. I'll just say the redo because of my limited vocab. And he came from South Korea to Atlanta and appeared on this show. So for those of you who want to catch us on the World Wide Web and catch the remix, The Arena, one word, no spaces, uncensored. Now, who wears the pants? Before I get to that, Mayweather, Pacquiao. Mayweather put them things on him, didn't he? Pacquiao came in there skinning and grinning and praying to an idol god named Ajit. And that god must have been asleep or turned his back on. He came in the ring and bowed down and all this right here. And after it was all said and done and Mayweather got through dropping them things on him, he had to go ahead and bow down to one of the greatest boxers of his generation. Not of all time, but of his generation. But what makes Mayweather, what is it, more money, big money Mayweather?
Money Mayweather.
Money Mayweather. Well, we had to say big money now. Because homeboy, I think he cleared about $1 billion, didn't he? $1 billion, would it be? Anyway, a whole lot of zeros on the computer screen. However, what makes Mayweather so great? For me, and so many of our young men use him as a hero, and he is a hero. Not because he spends all his money on fast cars, fast women, going to the shake dance club. That's just what some of us brothers do. But because of his relationship with his father. That is what makes him the greatest, one of the greatest of all time. He is the first to be able to bring his father in the ring with him. I don't know if any other boxer has ever done that. His father, he's beautiful. His father did time read you. He's a real soldier. Mayweather gives respect to his father. After the fight, he gave respect to his father, his earthly father. He comes from a line of men that's so powerful that it was ever present in that arena. And the one thing that was very clear, that boxing is a man's sport. You feel me? Men. The only way they could bring them skanky looking white women up in there is in the arena, to where they were carrying around the sign. They ain't got no clothes on, hardly. Who wants to see a white woman up in there half naked? It ain't a white man or white woman's thing. Why? Because we, as the children of Yah, men of Yah, are the most powerful warriors on the planet. Why you think they trying to kill us? They trying to kill us with every kind of game in the book. But the Most High said we were going to be as the sands of the seashore for multitude. So keep on with your dirty tricks, like what you did in Baltimore, and all across this country as you just open season on the brethren. Sooner or later, what goes around is going to come around. So big ups to Mo Money, Big Money, Money Mayweather, to his father, and to the myriad of brethren who have shown their ability, physicality, And really, the spiritual connection with his father was the most beautiful thing that I have ever seen. So what does the boxing arena show us? That white men ain't doing nothing but commentating, talking about it, and being on the sideline with his woman, carrying a sign around, talking about we'll work for food. That's basically what it's saying. But what about the two heavyweight champions? Who are they? Where were they? Because we control the boxing game in reality. Whitey controls it, unfortunately. But where were the Glitchko brothers? You didn't even see them big. See, they had to go in the lab to produce them white boys to beat down the brothers at the heavyweight champion. You know them brothers come out of a test tube. Come on now. They had to go to the lab. And because they came out the lab, that's probably where they was, back in their test tube somewhere to be able to get ready for the next fight. But the Most High will bring up another champion as they try to eliminate us from the heavyweight and boxing period. Who is their next white hope? They got the Glitchko brothers. We'll give them that. But why weren't they at the fight? They was in their test tube somewhere. You know what? Now, let me go back to this, because in America, few news items before we get to who's wearing the pants. See, that's a situation that comes from the old school generation. But, you know, many of you following these refrigerators, and what do I say, a refrigerator? Dr. F. Keith Slaughter, the movement ringmaster, WAOK, 1380 AM. You know, I'm a participant. I placed my order with Dr. Slaughter and, you know, the boss, Gene Ross, and all the other hosts and hostesses of WAOK. He comes on from 7 to 10. Dr. Slaughter says when he listens to these white talk show hosts, they have code words for us. So he came up with a code word for them. It's called refrigerator. And why did he come up with refrigerator? What is a refrigerator? It's white, it's big, and when it's working, it's cold. And that's what white America has shown us. They big, they white, and they are so cold, they not only will kill us, they'll kill innocent babies before they even come out the womb. You can't get no more dangerous than that. So these refrigerators have shown you all, and many of you have followed them, and of course, I take care of 3 four-legged animals myself. I've got 3 dogs outside where they belong. I ain't got them all up in my house, all in bed, licking me all over the face. It's out with that. But they are powerful athletes. They come from the Pitt family. And you know the Pitt, just like us, are born fighters. But we're spiritual people. We're lovers, really. And we're about peace. But when you get pushed up in a corner like our people did in BMO, in the big Baltimore, we come out fighting. And that's what Whitey don't want. He wanted to call some of his jackleg preachers, put some of his women in position to calm us down. But guess what? It didn't take a vote. It didn't take a politician. It didn't take none of white supremacy's tools to get things on a trail to looking at like some type of justice. We know at the end of the day, they're going to spring these white boys and these sisters and the so-called brother that was with them as they killed Freddie Gray. You understand? Mutilated him, broke his back in 3 places and his neck almost severed from his body. And the sellout Negroes right there watching everything go down like they've been doing for a piece of paper. You feel me? But this is a story I want to bring to you that I heard, and most of my stories come from the news, WAOK News, and so forth, other news outlets. Dogs have infected humans for the first time in this century with what? The plague. It has been transferred from a dog to a human. Why? Because you watching these refrigerators on TV, got the dog in bed, got the dog licking them all in the face, got the dog doing everything that a human was supposed to be doing, and because, yes sir, they doing that too, with the dog, And now the Most High says, you want to be like the dog and have the dog all over you and everything? Transmission of the plague from a dog to a human. Look it up. Google it. First time in a century. Keep letting the dog sleep in bed with you and licking you all in your face. The dog is a scavenger. It carries all type of insects and infections and so forth. But you love your little dog. And you got him right there in bed with you, ain't you? Keep on. Next, Good Morning America announced, as I mentioned last week, there is a car that runs on what? Air. The air we breathe. Why they been telling us we got to go in the earth, undermine the earth infrastructure, its ability to sustain itself? Why they want to go in and extract petroleum out of it? Because you and I don't have the drilling equipment to do it ourselves. So that way they can keep everybody under control, under their authority, and make a certain segment of society rich. But now they've come out with the ability to produce a car that runs on air. They've been know how to make a car run off water and other non-toxic fuels. But they don't care about their own children. So if they don't care about their own children, what you think they care about ours? Nothing. They killed Freddie Gray, like they killed all these brothers and sisters. They just shot a sister downtown in the police car. You understand? She had a gun. She shot first. But if it had been a white woman, they still wouldn't have went in there with a gun and blew her head off. It was a sister. You understand? But you love it so. And they made this car, and it runs off air. They could have been doing it. But now that they're actually seeing the results of global warming and the toxification of the planet, now they want to, oops, we need to do something. You should have been done something. That's right. But you want control, but the Most High got something for you. And next, police officer arrests man so he can lay with his girlfriend. See, these doggone police are just the peripheral of white supremacy. They the pit bulls of the white supremacy. This man done arrested this other guy so many times, and they never even thought about it. The man was telling them, look, he arrested me because he wants to deal with my old lady. Why? Because his old lady was fine and she showing all her stuff, and this dude is a power beast. He had the ability to arrest him, and many of you who've been watching the news, you heard the story, that the police officer is now finally being investigated after the man done been arrested so many times for nothing. Just like they arrested Freddie Gray, just like they stopped our man in South Carolina. It was an illegal stop. Just like they've been targeting and profiling us from day one. And what did you do? You went and got a job with them because you needed to work. You didn't care what they've been doing. Right. What goes around comes around. And they found out. And the girlfriend finally, after the homeboy broke up with her, I guess he finally got the message. Damn, this right here, I need to leave this chick alone. Because she been having an affair with the popo. And then after homie broke up with her, then she came clean about what's been going on. That homie was arresting him so that he'd be out of the way and he could go deal with her. You feel me? Yeah, it ain't all good. Check this out. It was announced on the news that the Capitol Hill police been doing what? Leaving their guns loaded in the bathroom. They go in there and drop a bomb. They got to take off all that equipment, and they so drunk or whatever, and they leave a lethal weapon such as a gun, it is alleged and been proven, because one of the times a child went and got the gun and brought it back out to the parents and to the people, and they say, whose gun is this? It was the Capitol Police. What else the Capitol Police? Drunk, running into barriers? Capitol Police partying, having sex orgies up on Yum Town Mine. And they supposed to be watching the El Presidente. And they out there freaky as a $4 bill. You know what I'm talking about? See, this is what your nation is producing. This is what you voting for. This is what you want because you down with the refrigerator. You know what? A refrigerator is even dangerous when it ain't even working. You see our children see the refrigerator, they want to do what? Go play in it. And next thing you know, it's the coffin. That's why they had to go with because they closed the door and can't open it. The refrigerator look good on the outside and it's nothing what? A death trap. Refrigerators. Think about it. And lastly, you know, Mr. Hines, Dr. Hines was on the Mary Gill, the Auto Insider, Daryl Killian. They're the weekend host and hostess, WAOK, 1380 on your dial. Daryl Killian comes on at 10. It's all in. He is the Auto Insider. And Real Estate 101 is manned by the beautiful Mary Gill. And they were out doing a health screening. They were in the hood over here on Sylvan Road at one of the clubs. As a matter of fact, I've been to that club. Don't let that get out. And they were doing the health screening. They had Dr. Hines, this powerful brother. This brother was talking about how that the foods that we're eating is destroying us. He talked about how we're being attacked. But see, they're not only attacking us on the streets, they're not only attacking us in the schools where they're putting our children on all these drugs, where they're, what do they call it when you get cast out of school? Suspending our children at a rate 10 times that of white children. They're attacking us even in the womb. How are they attacking us in the womb? Because where our neighborhoods are, they're called food deserts. Because we don't have wholesome, good, green, live vegetables for the poor people. And what has happened as a result of us not having good, wholesome foods, it has produced one of these diseases called preeclampsia. Look it up. Preeclampsia. Preeclampsia is a disease that affects the unborn child in the womb because of lack of nourishment. Blood going to the uterus. That's why our children are being born still. They're being born underweight. They're being born with all kind of diseases because the mama is on drugs. Dad is passing all that because we're under so much pressure by these refrigerators who's living high on the hog, eating the hog, and making sure we eat plenty of it ourselves. And it's killing, it's giving us high blood pressure, diabetes, which are all of these are preventable diseases. We just have to change our diet, which is what Dr. Hines was reflecting upon. And he said it is the extermination of our people that will ultimately result into extinction. And I can reflect upon a news item that came out in the 70s. It said the black man, so-called, is on the list of endangered species. That's right. It's been the plan by whitey eugenics. What's her name? Sager, the female. They came up with it. They've been wanting to kill us. Why? Because we are beautiful. And the Creator made us such. And even our own families turn against us. Now, this story about Dr. Hines talking about the food, I told him, I said, I want to give you one from a title of Mother's Finest, one of Atlanta's #1 rock groups. Back in my day in the 70s, you know, I mean, they off the chain, lead guitar. It was Another Mother Further. I said that because I was going to take it from the food category, us eating whiteys, the refrigerators, food products, processed foods that they put in our neighborhoods to create disease and dis-ease and discomfort. It is even the clothing. And this comes not only from the title of today's program, Who Wears the Pants, but not only because the Who Wears the Pants in the house comes from my generation and Prince Zebekiah's generation, where if a man got into a situation with his old lady or whatever, he would always say, I wear the pants in my house, which was to say, or if he was talking with brethren and they were chiding him about who was running the house, we could always go with, I'm wearing the pants. Well, guess what? Whitey heard that, and he jumped on that too. Why? Because now, who is wearing the pants? Everybody. The sisters wearing more pants, and they so tight, it looks right, but guess what? It carries disease. I grew up in the 70s. In the 70s, we used to wear tight pants, bell bottom. You know, the brothers with the big packages, they loved that because they could display that package to these, you know, the hoes do exist now. And they would see that package and they'd go running. And the brothers would run. But what was happening? See, the scrotum is what houses the testicles. The testicles on a man hang anatomically away from the body. Why is that? Because the temperature of the scrotum is supposed to be different from that of the rest of the body. And when our men were following these these refrigerators and their dress, we start wearing those tight pants, and it was bringing the scrotum back up to the body. It was raising the temperature of the spermatozoa that reside and are produced out of the testicles. And what did it result in? Once again, extermination. Why? Because men were having low sperm counts from following the refrigerators and their dress. Now, let's fast forward to today. Who's wearing the pants in your house? You tell your old lady to come out them tight pants and see what she tell you. But what you don't understand is, and what many of our daughters don't understand, is Whitey, in order for you to wear your underwear, like these stockings and pants that they're wearing that show every crack and crevice, and these real tight pants, is what they're using. A woman has what's called a menstruation. It is the blood that lines the womb once a month so that an egg can plant itself in it and become fertilized by the sperm of a man. Well, if she doesn't engage or she uses some type of preventive measure, even though she's sexually active, from a man sperm being able to reach that egg, which could be fertilized by the sperm, well, after a certain period of time, that blood begins to drain out of her womb, through the cervix, into the vaginal cavity, and out. But what did the refrigerator females tell them to do? Well, you need to show your body off, girl. You need to show what you got. Show what your mama gave you. And they started in the tool used as an absorption tool. In the old school, when they wore dresses, they could hide during that time the napkins that were used on the exterior of the body for the flow to be absorbed once it comes out of the body. But the refrigerators told them, no, girl, you need to use these inserts where you can still wear this tight stuff and do all the stuff that you want to do. But what happens when blood is captured and put in a certain area for an extended period of time? It begins to coagulate. And back in the 70s, we heard of the term toxic shock syndrome. It was sending these sisters into toxic shock because they were wearing those inserts inside their anatomy, and that blood, which was passing death, was being captured, and the toxicity of it was causing these sisters infections, disease, and all type of abnormalities. See, sooner or later, you're going to learn following these refrigerators going to lead you to death. It's going to lead you to all type of, because it's not natural for us. What's natural for you to wear a dress, to use those napkins so that blood, that death can pass out of your body because it carries bacteria and disease so that you can be safe. But sooner or later, you're going to learn. But keep on following the refrigerator. You're going to mess around and get caught up in it, and it's going to cause death. I know I've been a little long. Let me go in to the scripture right here. I'm going to go to the first man. You know what I'm talking about? You don't like me. I know I say what you don't like. Oh, well, there you go. But let's go to the first man and see what he had to say about it. See, I'm going to go into Better Sheet, Genesis And I'll pick it up at, let me pick it up at verse 2 in chapter 2 and verse 1. It says, of course, we know man was created, woman was created. You know, that's for those of us who believe. I know Black, he don't believe in none of this, so Black, you just stay back. Chapter 2, verse 1. Thus the heavens and the earth were finished, and all the host of them. And on the seventh day, Yah ended his work which he had made, and he rested on the seventh day. And of course, well, let me go to 1 and 26. It says this. And Yah said, made the beast of the earth after his kind, and cattle after that kind, and everything that creepeth upon the earth after his kind. And Yah saw that it was good. And Yah said, let us make man in our image and after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and everything that creepeth upon the earth. So Yah created man in his own image. In the image of Yah created he him, male and female created he them. And he blessed them, and Yah said unto them, be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth, subdue it, have dominion over the fish of the sea and over the fowl of the air and over every living thing upon the earth. And of course now we know over a million babies were aborted last year in this country because they have turned from that being fruitful to being killers. Okay, let me move on. Now, and Yah Elohim in chapter 2, verse 7. Yah Elohim formed man of the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul. And Yah planted a garden eastward in Eden, and he put the man whom he has formed. And out of the ground, Yah Elohim to grow the tree that is pleasant to the sight and good for food, the tree of life in the midst of the garden, and the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Now, let me drop down to verse 16. Now, verse 15. And Yah Elohim took the man and put him into the garden of Eden to dress it and to keep it. And Yah Elohim commanded the man, saying, of every tree of the garden you may eat, but of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil you shall not eat of it. For in the day that you eateth thereof, you shall die. Okay? Now, in chapter 3 and verse 1. Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field which Yah Elohim made. And he said unto the woman, yes, Yah has said, you shall not eat of every tree of the garden. And the woman said unto the serpent, the woman said unto the serpent, we may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden, but of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, Yah Elohim said, you shall not eat of it, neither shall you touch it, lest you die. And the serpent said unto the woman, you shall not surely die. For Elohim doth know that in the day that you eat thereof, then your eyes shall be opened, and you shall be as gods, knowing good and evil. And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, because she didn't change words, did she? She went right on and ate. And that it was pleasant to the eyes and a tree to be desired to make one wise, she took of the fruit thereof and did eat. And guess what she did? And gave also unto her husband, and he did eat. Who was leading who? And the eyes of them were both opened, and they knew that they were naked, and they sewed fig leaves and made themselves aprons. And they heard the voice of Yah Elohim walking in the garden in the cool of the day. And Adam said unto his wife, they hid themselves from the presence of Yah Elohim among the trees of the garden. And Yah Elohim called unto Adam and said unto him, where art thou? And he said, I heard your voice in the garden, and I was afraid because I was naked, and I hid myself. And he said, who told you that you was naked? Hast you eaten of the tree whereof I commanded you not to eat? And he said, check this out now, The man said, the woman whom you gave to be with me, she gave me of the tree, and I did eat. And Yah Elohim said unto the woman, what have you done? And the woman said, the serpent beguiled me, and I did eat. You can follow the woman if you want to, like Adam did. And the women are using their tools of persuasion with them tight pants and all toxified with all them chemicals in the hair and extensions from other folks and all them nails and all these chemicals. They still Yah's people, just like we, and they've raised up a generation of young men who not only idolize their mothers, but hate their fathers. Follow the woman if you want to. And to my guests, you know who he is. He works behind the scenes, but he also ain't shy about being in front of the scene. It is my brother, Tuhuru. And make sure you, if I'm not pronouncing your name correctly, correct me.
Yes, brother. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And to his right, you know who he is. He is the royalty of the set, the wisdom. His name, Prince Zebekiah.
Hello, my brother. How you doing?
Well, my brother, I've been a little long. You know what it is. You know, I'm getting strong with this thing. You know, I want to have you hear our young man's assessment, and then I want you to summarize what you've heard from my ramblings and what you would reflect upon. Now, Brother Tuhuru, what have you gathered or ascertained from the information that I have disseminated?
Basically, the black people are being manipulated, and our women are being the tools that are being used to manipulate us. If you replace the word serpent in the Bible with the word refrigerator, then the story would be much more clear on what you was talking about. And also, I was watching something earlier about the black church, and the black church being dead or whatnot. And one of the points the brother brought up was the black church is dead because it's overpopulated with women, and it's really one man at the top. It's not God or Jesus or whoever, who have you. It's the pastor. He's not even supposed to be in his position. So the men are not going to the church because the pastor's in their bedroom and he's in their business.
Exactly.
So this lady got back on the show. She had a rebuttal about that, and she was like, that's not true or whatnot. And the man said it's absolutely true. And the reason being is because the woman will use her pastor as leverage in the household. Whenever the man wants to run his house how he want to run it, she'll say, well, my pastor told me to do this and he told me to do that. And, you know, by her being emotional and more, feel like she's more connected to God or more godly, or at least that's what he pumped her head up to believe. Exactly. She go with the pastor, and the pastor's constantly telling her, a man need to do this, a man need to do that, knowing that he talking about, to her, in her mind, he's talking about her husband.
Exactly.
So he putting him on the spot. And it all just works together. And at the end of it, it's our demise.
Now, let's hear your reflections on Baltimore, because we saw the children, of course, we saw a mother go out there and they highlighted her. They said, the mother hero. She going up there beating her son all upside the head, and he's fighting for the freedom of our people in one microcosm of a worldwide debacle of white supremacy, and she's out there beating him upside the head. What were your reflections upon Baltimore? And now they're saying that they're going to take the curfew off. They brought in, of course, the National Guard to protect property, not discerning the lives that have been lost. What are your reflections?
Well, first of all, I believe that was the biggest mistake and the biggest, like, to set the example of what a mother should do at a time like this for other mothers. And I think that it was also publicized like it was so other mothers could see it. I think that's just another control factor. I think somebody purposely put that particular video out there to control the masses. Oh, this is what you need to be doing with your sons, not letting them be out here just throwing property, throwing rocks at the police. Somebody, when I posted it on my Facebook, I put, is this mother wrong or not for dragging her son out the battle? Some black mothers chimed in, no, she's not wrong because I'd rather be dragging him by his shirt off the battle scene than picking him up off the ground by his shirt, screaming and hollering. You know, and that's exactly what the enemy want. They want to play on our women's emotions, so when they see their son handling his business like a man supposed to, fighting back, they go pull him back. You know, just like Willie Lynch, we gonna deliver our sons to you.
Yeah, you know, that reminds me of this, before I go to the elder, this other story of this woman, after seeing the abuse and destruction of our people, she posted on her Facebook, because you know it's a government tool, Facebook, that she would like to kill the refrigerator police officers, and what she would like to do. She said that only reason I'm saying is because of freedom of speech, blah, blah, Z. The next day, the alphabet folks was at her house and she locked down now. What are your reflections and what did you learn from that particular story?
Freedom of speech ain't freedom of speech.
Exactly.
In this country, we can hang nooses up. We could put a noose with the president in it. We could say we gonna kill that N-word if he take office, or we can do this. We can say all that, but we can't say fight the police.
They can say it.
Yeah, they can say all that, but we can't say fight for your rights. Stand against the police. It's obvious that they are active white supremacy group members, and they just using the visor of the police uniform to fool people.
That's it.
And there's even people, refrigerated people in their own community that are fooled by that, because it's clandestine.
Exactly.
You know, of course, I'm not gonna tell you I'm in the Ku Klux Klan and I'm on your police force.
Right.
That defeats the purpose.
But let the statistics speak for themselves. You know, Prince Zebekiah, I mean, just give us your reflections. What has the Spirit brought to you about this information?
Well, number one, you know, when you talk about, you started off talking about
who's wearing the pants.
Who's wearing the pants. Now, this has been a thing that's been thrown up between the male and the female in this country for a long time.
Yes, sir.
And one of the things I have usually like to clear up, first of all, is that before men wore pants, women wore pants.
Okay.
They wore the pantaloons. So they used this as a tool to keep us clashing at one another.
Okay.
The role has been altered for a man in this society.
Yes.
There's no place for him in, quote unquote, our black community at all.
Right.
Years ago, they paid the women to keep the men out the house.
Exactly.
Right.
Still paying them.
And today, you know, when we talk about who wears the pants,
right,
the term originally came out of the fact that the man was in the control. He makes the decisions.
Right.
Okay, for the household.
Exactly.
But now he can't make the decision.
Right.
First of all, capital controls. The second thing is, in dealing with the capital, right, here the woman is being paid more money than the man.
Teach.
Okay, so there's a problem here all up and down. Now, she decided what she want to do. She makes the decisions. If he says something, right, it leads into a fist fight, right, because of the words that are used. And you know, when situations get like that, we have to recognize why we're in this condition. What caused us to be here? Okay, what brought us here is our walking away from our Creator.
Yes, sir.
Right. Number one, the Creator is the provider.
That's right.
You got to be wise enough as a man to stay in focus with the Creator, that the Creator may open up the doors, no matter what hand it comes to.
Yes, sir.
Him or her.
That's right.
The family is a part of the creation, okay, of the joining of the two individuals. That man, you know, Scripture says that it's not good that a man should dwell alone.
Exactly.
Right? So it's bound that he needs to find what? A woman.
A helpmate.
So, or helpmate. So when we begin to deal with that alone, we have to begin to understand the roles.
Yes, sir.
And it didn't say who he was going to put the money, you know, the capital in whose hand.
Exactly.
she's supposed to help him build.
Exactly.
Okay, so any dollar she gets or he gets is supposed to work towards helping the entire family, making things happen. But he has to be free to make the decisions because God put him in a position, right, making him an image in the image of God.
Exactly.
So God makes decisions. So the man was put in the position to make the decisions. Today, that's not even looked at.
Exactly.
I mean, people are looking at it, but they fight over it.
Right.
When there's no question about what it was said if we begin to look at the creation of man.
Yes, sir.
First of all, the seed comes through who?
The man.
The man. But see, what they have done, they opted it out, and they used Egyptology,
Exactly.
right, to justify it. You know, and it's all up and down the line. It's going to create problems in our families particularly, because man, we done lost the sense of direction. You used another term earlier. We were talking about Holyfield.
Yes.
Holyfield and his father.
Yes, sir. Mayweather and his father.
Mayweather and his father.
Yes, sir.
Excuse me. But when you were talking about that, there's no standard. There's no representation of the male being in the home to be that nurturer.
Yes, sir.
That one who brings, you know, that the father should, or the father's presentation
Yes, sir.
should be directed to guide the child.
Yes, sir.
So the homes are broken up.
Exactly.
The kids are out here in the street, and coming back to what we're talking about in Baltimore, this country is we're saying,
Exactly.
it's about to sink.
Yes, sir.
And it's sinking because people are not realizing how serious this matter is.
Exactly.
You know, you can't, a young black man is considered, he's vulnerable everywhere he moves.
Everywhere.
Okay, so when the police pulls him over, automatically he's tensed because he done seen what's done going on.
Right.
Right. So now he's tense. So when the officer says, "Hey, pull over,"
Right.
and he goes to pull over, he moving, he's checking himself.
Yes, sir.
All at the same time.
Exactly.
Right. The police, on the other hand, he's looking at him, figuring, well, he's up to something.
Exactly.
And from that point on, it goes out of hand.
Now, well, let me just interject briefly. Freddie Gray wasn't even in a car. The story goes that he looked at the popo, and he looked at him eye to eye like a man will do to another man that's not afraid. And because of that, his life is lost. Continue.
Because they want the authority. The authority to say that I'm in power.
Yes, sir.
Okay? We're supposed to respect them. Right? But see, I always say this, that when you talk about a police department, right, the police department really needs to be, the people coming out of the police department or joining the police force should be coming out to church.
Yes, sir.
They should be members. When you get a deacon, you go from deacon to the minister.
Yes, sir.
Well, after they reach the minister,
Come on.
at that point, they're qualified maybe to become a policeman.
Exactly.
Until then, right, they're being hired for dollars.
That's right.
And there's no value of life in their mindset. And then they're being programmed to be this Hercules type of character.
Exactly.
Right, to build up that momentum. And that's what's constantly going on. And until we look at it and begin to say, hey, sit down with the female. Look, they're killing us.
Right.
Right?
Right.
We got to be wiser now in how we act and how we maneuver in this society.
But now let me challenge you a little bit, Elder, because as you well know, and you've indicated on this show, that when you're living in the oppressor's land, the woman belongs to the oppressor.
Exactly.
Is she not doing, in effect, what the law of Yah said she would be doing by joining on with the killer?
Exactly.
These refrigerators?
That's part of the protocol. But see, here's the duty of the ministers.
Come on.
See, number one, he's supposed to teach the men how to be men.
Exactly.
That's his duty by his actions.
Yes, sir.
So he's supposed to train them on what position they're supposed to take. To have a business period, you have to think.
Yes, sir.
But you got to be free to think.
Come on.
When in Israel, we talk about the Creator bringing Israel out of Egypt.
Yes.
Because they couldn't be men in Egypt.
Exactly.
They couldn't rule their household. They couldn't advise their household.
Exactly.
Till they understood what the purpose was. What does a man, what does it constitute, and what does it actually mean by saying I'm a man?
Come on now.
All right? What is a man's duty? Now, quote unquote, on the bottom line, they throwing these sets of understandings, right, that are false.
Exactly.
I read in the scripture, who can find a virtuous woman?
Come on.
Her price is far above rubies. The heart of a husband does safely trust in them.
Yes, sir.
In this society, we don't. We don't. Because
Yes,
for the trinkets,
yes,
right, she'll sell the whole family out.
Yes, sir.
All right?
Yes, sir.
I want this.
Yes.
The man making $10.
Right.
She wants $30, $40 item.
Exactly.
Okay, so now what does that do? And he can't find another means to do nothing. Then they say, hey, well, hey, baby, hey, look, I'm gonna give you $20.
Exactly.
Now,
the system does
this.
and she
so
sells
it's destroying
herself to it.
And it's destroying us. But this is all part of what was placed in